Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, Dedication. My name is Dakota Lang, along co-host Garrett Cotten.
Yep.
We're here today, brother.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Kind of cold outside.
Yeah.
Just got fully moved into Utah, so that's the past week has been an adventure for us.
Yeah, this whole week's been crazy. Yeah, we got a good topic to talk about today. Maybe just before we jump into there, just a little bit of life update. Tell us about your move and stuff.
Yeah, so obviously became regional 1st of September, and getting all that stuff from Austin, Texas planned out and getting the lease signed here. This past week has been crazy. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they were moving across the country to Utah. So got in Wednesday night, and still unpacking, but glad to be here. So,
heck yeah.
Glad to be here full time, I should say.
Yep, now more podcasts, more content coming to the viewers.
More podcasts, more content, and also a lot of networking opportunities for us. We have a real estate thing scheduled with Porter Hawkins.
Yep.
Porter Hawkins Tuesday. So super excited to go network with him and his people. You know what I mean? Kind of pick their brain a little bit in real estate. Mm-hmm. But yeah, heck yeah, super excited for it. What you been having going on?
Yeah, a lot of traveling with regional and stuff. This week I actually lost my luggage with Delta Airlines. Went without my bag for 2 days and got everything delivered. A couple of days after, but we're getting things figured out. So.
Heck yeah. Well, I know that we were talking about before we went live, is just talking about progression, right? Progression in your career and your job duties, whatever it may be, just in life, right? Mm-hmm. To dive in, to just start that topic off, what would you say is your definition of progression?
Yeah, progression is being able to achieve the next position or to learn more, put more on your plate, just balance more obstacles in life, that type of thing. I think in performance windows, that's what we're going to relate to the most. Performance windows is kind of like it's really opened my eyes a whole lot to business in general, because you come in as a knocker, the easiest position. We give you a little bit more of what word am I thinking of? Responsibilities. Yeah, we give you more responsibilities as a closer, and then once you prove yourself as a closer, we give you more responsibilities as a market owner, and then for so on and so on. But it's so relatable in any industry, and you can probably relate to this with Superior Lawn and Pressure Washing. When you come in, the guys that you hire on. Well, I guess we can start with you. When you started at Superior Lawn and Pressure Washing. It was just
some
you.
People might not know what that is, but Superior Lawn and Pressure Washing is a lawn and landscaping company that I started while, I would say Premier. That was in college. So that was like my freshman, sophomore year in college, and actually grew a little bit.
You had a couple people working with you and stuff.
Yeah, I had a couple people working for me, working with me, I should say, and learned a lot on that adventure, you know what I mean? But I would say just as far as progression like that, obviously you don't open up a company and have 5-10 people working for you, right? But that's what people want to scale to.
So what did it start like for you? So you started off in your position, and we can kind of relate this, I can relate it to the service industry in food, and we can together relate it in performance windows. Yep. But so when you started it was just you by yourself, or you and one other guy?
Me and one other guy, which he was my business partner at the time. And we started it up. It was just me and him, and just started marketing, dude. You know what I mean? Like trying to on Facebook, Instagram. You know what I mean? Putting stuff all on these pages, like looking for yards. You know what I mean? Summertime, fall cleanup, spring cleanup, all that type of stuff. So anyway, we started the marketing thing, and obviously there was back end and stuff like that we had to go through this software called Jobber. And kind of help do that. But the main thing is we had to learn each individual position before we could bring any new people in, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I would say it takes a little bit longer than others. I guess it just depends on your scaling rate for the company. Mm-hmm. But really just learning every job that you can, and that way, whenever you do bring people on, then you're able to take on a bigger problem, a bigger responsibility.
Looking at this, there's kind of two sides we could tackle. We could tackle the business owner progression, and we can also tackle the employee to owner progression.
Well, I think I think they're very similar. You know what I mean? Because if we always say that if you treat the place you work for as if it was your own, and then technically you are an owner. You know what I
get
mean?
that skill set with less risk.
Right.
So yeah. When you first came in, you already knew. I mean, you knew how to cut grass, weed eat,
Right.
stuff like that. But it was
Not on a professional level.
on a
but
professional level. So that's skills that you had to learn on a day by day. Learn through failures. There's probably things that you messed up that you're like, oh, I can't do that anymore. Did you ever mess up siding or anything like that? Pressure washing?
No, the only thing, no, never. Probably the biggest mess up that we ever had was rock going through a front door, the glass.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? But stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like making sure, when you're weed eating, making sure that can shoot everything away from the door, and rather than busting a glass. But luckily, it wasn't that big of a deal. I just had to buy a new door. But I would say, as far as just like, I don't know, I kind of look at it as like the business owner perspective. Is that kind of needs to be your goal, right? Is you need to. You were talking about it before we went on. Is the book "Buy Back Your Time."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like whenever you get people into your business, right? That should be your goal. Is like, how can I buy back my time?
And in any position, yeah, even as a knocker, right? Like that's Performance Windows. We come in as a knocker. You can start building your team or your business within the first 2 months of you being there.
Okay, I want to go into this topic real quick because I was having a conversation recently, right? Not going to name drop, but it was somebody, and they asked me, or he asked me. He said, "Do you think it's harder now to grow to the top of Performance Windows whenever I came in, or do you think that people just got softer nowadays?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said 100% people just gotten softer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
I feel
right
like the
now,
opportunity's still the same.
yeah, because right now we have way more resources as a company than what we had whenever me and you came in. You know what I mean? Way more resources.
Yeah.
We're able to open up 2 to 3 markets per month.
Yeah.
The company couldn't sustain that whenever me and you came in.
It was once every 4 to 6 months.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So I don't remember where I was getting at with this, but as far as you were talking about with the knockers and building your team, buying back your time. If you just invest into your business, your own business right now, and okay, how can I buy back my time on the doors? Well, I need to bring people in that will help knock these doors for me, and that way I can close. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Buying back your time on the doors in different ways. Same thing, okay, well, if you're such a good closer and you get your own market, how can I buy back my time to where I'm not out there having to run appointments every day, right? Well, I need to get more closers in the room.
Yeah,
right?
It's kind of like if you go into that mindset of whatever task is given to me, I'm going to master this task so that I can teach others. The goal should never be to teach a man to fish and then I'm just going to fish for the rest of my life. Like, yeah, that's a good saying and stuff, but it should be the idea of like, I need to learn how to fish so I can teach everybody to fish so I can create a fish farm.
Right, yep.
So like now we've got tons of people fishing, and then the surplus, we could take we can make way more out of this opportunity. So, but that can happen in each position. But it's kind of like, I guess it's that, I feel like I've read in books that there's names for it, like in the psychological talk or whatever, but of business owner and employee mindset. But for us, we came in with that business owner mindset from day one. In our business, it's very blatantly obvious that there's only 2 sides of it: selling and recruiting. If you think about it, in every business, it's pretty much those 2 things: selling and recruiting. In a restaurant, you got to sell the product and you got to recruit workers to come and sell the product. In cutting grass, you got to sell the product, which is the service, and then you got to recruit people to help you build that business. In any aspect, that's pretty much the 2 sides of it. For us in door-to-door sales, it's just like there's so much attention to purely selling, which is door-to-door sales, and then purely recruiting, which is building your business. Like it's basically kind of like a building your business for dummies type of thing. But it's opened our eyes in business so much because of what we learned through our experiences here. So, but I think, like we were saying though, come in. If you can master this position or get somebody to do at least 80% of your productivity in that position, then it's worth your time to move on to a bigger problem. So, with the guys that came in pressure washing and stuff, they came in. What was the first position you'd put them at?
Oh, just a helper.
Helper.
You know what I mean? Yeah, helper.
Literally just doing whatever's around the house.
Just labor hand. You know what I mean? As far as the landscaping and stuff like that, you'd be, pulling weeds, doing that. And then I guess you can kind of, it was pretty simple though. I mean, but the same thing, it's just as simple as performance windows, right? I don't need 100 different job titles, you know what I mean, for every person on the crew. So pretty much you were either a labor hand or a lead crew, you know what I mean? And those guys there, I mean, but the thing is that as long as you just go out there, do your job in anything, then you should be able to progress.
Yeah. I guess, too, on a business perspective, what's the difference in, like, performance windows being able to scale so much versus, like, competitor markets that can't scale their business? What do you think is the difference between, like, why do we scale so well?
Yeah, well, because we want to scale. You know what I mean? Performance Windows wants to scale, and we have people in the organization of Performance Windows that also want to scale. So if you have those other people, but a lot of these our competitors and stuff like that, they're just, I would say, you don't have people that are so willing to move. You know what I mean? They want to stay in their hometown. You know what I mean? So they don't scale, right?
Yeah.
They stay stagnant because they don't want to take that risk to move somewhere else, rather than in Performance Windows, the resources that are already there now, right? Now it's just a culture of people moving away. I
think it might be, too, a combination of the leadership that's in our company, because we sell the vision to the new people that come in, but also there's so much attention in making sure that the people at the bottom are the most taken care of, and at Performance Windows, we are really good at showing that vision that you can come in and have nothing to your name and you can create something, whereas in other competitor markets, and, they sell them on the quick money or the vision of, oh man, we're going to make you a market owner if you come over here, this kind of stuff. And it's just, they're at this point, they're lies. Because it hasn't happened. But for us, the opportunity, it starts from so small, and you can build for like the progression of growth in this company, because we put so much emphasis on taking care of the guys at the bottom. Knockers can come in and make insane money, and then I say it's easy. It only takes up to 2 months to get qualified, or it could take 6 or 8 months, however long you want it, but it only takes 2 months to get qualified. Imagine if that was the same perspective in your pressure washing company. Your guys could come in, they make almost as much money as you, and then it only takes a couple months, and they got their own crew themselves. You could have scaled your business, Imagine if you had the knowledge of what we learned in Performance Windows, and you were using that in your business today.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the good thing, just like on the wedding venue aspect, right? It's something that we're able to do in scale, right? We're just getting started into it, but we're definitely going to. But the thing is, you just have to I feel like you got to also have to balance like some type of compensation for performance. You know what I mean? A bunch of these 9-to-5 jobs, they don't really incentivize their people to get promoted. You know what I mean? So you also have to think about just like, what career are you in? Are you in sales? Are you on that 9-to-5 job where maybe the position that you're looking for, the guy might not be retiring for 10, 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely.
Yeah, that does matter, because putting yourself in the right room.
Yep.
Because some places don't give you that opportunity to grow. But are you looking for the opportunity to grow?
Yep.
Because that's a mindset thing. Are you chasing a higher ceiling, or are you just trying to maintain what's in the room?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a learning process, but with what we do every day in Performance Windows, I mean, we've learned a lot while we're here, and we're still learning. I told somebody the other day, I was like, we're toddlers in this industry.
Yeah.
Like 2 to 3 years, like we're barely having full sentences right now.
So literally.
We got a lot more to learn.
Yes.
And, a lot of respect to like Levi and Kyle and stuff like that. Even getting to see their meetings and stuff, it reminds me. I'm like, okay, just wait till I'm at 6, 7 years in this industry. I'm going to be smooth. I'm going to be like talking,
Yeah.
But we're learning as we go. But as we're in the position right now, what are we trying to do? We're trying to master this position so that we can train the people in our region to take our role.
Yep.
And so that we can focus on the bigger projects.
Next project.
Yep. Helps the company to scale.
Yep. Well, cool deal. Well, I think first of all, we thank everybody for the support. Also, we do have our link to our Shopify in our Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it's in the Facebook as well. Go check that out. We have some merchandise on there. We're going to be doing some giveaways maybe here in the next couple months. So stay tuned for that. And then also, now that we're both here in Utah, we're going to be doing a lot more podcasts with just us on some different topics and stuff like that. So make sure you stay tuned and drop a comment below. And always like and subscribe to the channel. So peace out.